And they want to know if you have any stories about Jim Cornette.
Jim Cornette, yeah. I don't have a lot of stories about Jim Cornette, but like one of my I've had some of my earliest experiences and encounters. My encounters with Jim Cornette were early in my career, I should say. So when I first started training, there was these like super fans called Jeff Bowdrum, who was a clerk of the clerks down here, and a couple other people, my old partner Tom. They were all kind of friends, and then like Jim Cornette, like he was like friends with them somehow. So one of my early experiences, I've gone to a lunch with him, like, because when he tells this thing, he goes, "Yeah, I know Dave when he was still a mark and he wasn't wrestling," but like I never correct him and say, "Well, I was wrestling by then, Jim," but I'm not gonna correct him. But yeah, that's when I first met him. But then in my ring experiences, the first thing with him was I used to go to Georgia Championship Wrestling. So it was on I believe it was called Techwood Drive or Peachtree Street, but it was the old studio, the old Georgia Championship Wrestling studio. Mm-hmm. So there's no so I would literally do a show on Friday night here in South Florida. Do another show Saturday, an independent show like in Tampa, but I wouldn't get a hotel room, and then I would pick a couple other guys up, and then we'd drive up and sleep in the parking lot to do TV, because TV was in the morning on a Sunday morning out there, and they wouldn't have a bathroom or anything in the studio. It was just like they had a bathroom, but there was no showers or anything. So, you'd sleep in your car, you'd come in, try not to smell, run, brush your teeth real quick, and wash your armpits, and do that. Woo, West Texas, rest in peace, Bobby Duncan shower, and Bobby Duncan Jr. there. Oh God, I miss that guy. But we get in there and you'd shower up, and then you'd wait, to wrestle, and I'll always sit there, and you never knew who you would get. Like at that time, they had Samoa SWAT team, which I'm dear friends with them both now, but they were like I looked at them as like just murderous assassins back then, because they had these pineapples, the SSTs, and then they would just like bust a pineapple on your head. And later I learned, sometimes when I watch that pineapple get busted on somebody's head, I'd be like, that pineapple didn't break very well. Because like I learned later that if Samu didn't like you, would leave the pineapple like kind of frozen, they wouldn't cut it like when they hit you. So they like really clock you with that pineapple. And then you had the Road Warriors, who I never drew the SST back then, but I drew the Road Warriors a lot. I was like, oh. And so the Road Warriors was the Road Warriors back then. It was kind of rough, but it wasn't bad. But it was like, you'd be like, oh damn, you get the Road Warriors. But then, and I drew them a lot, I'd get the Midnight Express. I'm like, oh, thank you. Oh. It was like the heavens opened up. Getting Beautiful Bobby, baby. Beautiful Bobby. And it was actually, I think, Stan Lane at the time when I drew him the first time. But Bobby Eaton's just always going to stand out to me. And Jim Cornette. So we get them. It's the first time we're working at the Georgia Championship Studios, and like, so I get out there. We're doing a match. It's kind of a long match for a little TV match, but they throw me out there, and Jim Cornette, he rips his jacket off and he puts his tennis racket down, and then I take like a punch from Jim Cornette in the back bump. But that's like my first in-ring experience with Jim Cornette. I ended up taking a punch from him and taking a bump on the floor and stuff like that. But I've always had like super pleasant experiences. He was very knowledgeable about wrestling and stuff like that, and very helpful to me when I was younger. But
good, I love to hear that.
Yeah. No, he's so smart. Like, people don't realize, like, he came up through the setting chairs up and taking pictures. He came up that old fashioned way. So when you come up in such a way and you pay all these dues, it can be frustrating, and to myself too, frustrating when I see people that roll in like, oh, I'm the greatest. Like, like, did you work here? Did you do this? Did you pay? It can be very, very frustrating, because I mean, and I'll say it, a lot of people are like act entitled and stuff in this generation, but so I mean, I get some of his frustrations with things, this and that, and sometimes this is over the top, but he's always great and cool to me. It was always good things. So
good.
Yeah.
Noted. All right.